When the world has got you down. And
Alzheimer's sucks. It's an equal opportunity disease that chips away at everything we hold dear. And to date, there's no cure. So until there is, we continue to fight with the most powerful tool in our arsenal, love. This is Love Conquers Alls, a real and really positive podcast that takes a deep dive into everything Alzheimer's, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And now, here's your hosts, Susie Singer-Carter and Cassie Cruz.
all you gotta do is sing a song.
Hello, everybody, and so glad to see you here. I'm Susie Singer-Carter.
And I'm Cassie Cruz. Welcome to Love Conquers Alls.
Welcome, 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 Cassie. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This, COVID-19 thing is a little undaunting at some
COVID-19,
times.
what do you mean? What does that mean? I'm
Oh,
kidding.
oh, yeah, there's nothing happening. Nothing. What? It's all normal. I know there's so many people that look so normal out there doing normal stuff again. And I'm like,
I know. Well, we hope maybe.
I don't know. I just don't know because we're in the midst of it still. And there is some findings, but I don't think we know what really is everything yet. And, so many people say, I'm being lied to and I'm this, and there's all the conspiracy. It's like, I don't know anything is what I've decided.
All I know is that my mask is really messing up my whole style, okay? That's all I know. I'm not digging the masks, but you know what? I'm digging living, so we're wearing the masks, and that's the way it goes.
We're going to be socially responsible because that's what they've asked us to do.
Oh, no, mask is going on. I did make myself a cute denim one.
Did you?
I did.
Oh.
I did. I'll have to show it to you later, but I did make a cute denim one, and you might as well look cute.
You might as well look. Well, you can't not look cute, Susie.
Oh,
that's
stop!
Just how you roll. That's
stop.
how you roll. And talking about cute.
Yes.
I'm gonna segue talking about this wonderful guest that we have today. I am absolutely thrilled and excited to have him. His name is Shawn Perry. He is one of my heroes. He's one of my personal heroes, and I think he's a hero for so many people in this world. I mean, he is the man with a capital T and a capital M. He's the executive producer and host of The Senior Zone. And he's on radio every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is his gig. That is, he has guests on. He's a huge resource for all The Senior Zone, which is DC's #1 radio program for seniors, dude.
Wow.
The Senior Zone weekly radio program is dedicated to serving the needs of the older adult community, and now in its 8th year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's become a forum of connection and inspiring possibilities for older adults seeking tips and direction to senior programs, services, tools, resources, events, advice, as well as cultural tidbits. Since 2012, Shawn has worked tirelessly to promote the well-being of older adults and to champion their cause. He attributes his reverence for older adults to his late grandmother, Rosa Lee Perry. We love you, Rosa Lee Perry, who instilled a profound sense of empathy for the vulnerable, frail, and elderly. And we are super grateful for you, Rosa, because you've really developed a great man. So
that is what is my mantra: empathy towards seniors. It's vital.
It's vital. And Shawn is a retired military officer. Serving nearly 22 years in the U.S. Air Force.
Thank you, Shawn.
He gets stuff done. Thank you for your service, sir.
Wait, let me do that too.
Let's do that. Let's salute him, man.
Okay.
If I'm doing that right, Shawn will probably teach us how.
I know, and plus we both did the wrong hand. I think I did.
Oh no, he'll teach us, okay? And he has a BS from the University of Maryland and has resided in Washington D.C. area since 1985.
Nice.
And Shawn has a lovely wife, Nancy, and 4 children, Danielle, Jared, Kyla, and I hope I'm going to say her name right, Alisa. And he will tell us because you're going to bring him on now, please.
Okay. Welcome, Shawn Perry.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Well, we're doing great. We're happy to have you here. It's nice to meet you.
It's my pleasure. I don't know how I can live up to that introduction. I used to tell my folks, let's under promise so we can over deliver. Cassie, you did it just the opposite, okay? I can't live up to that introduction. Come on now.
You know what? Just take it and smile.
First off,
It's nice. It's good. Good for the soul.
I want to say, actually, I actually did do that. I under-promised, and you will over-deliver, just like the person I know you to be, Shawn. So I know with certainty that this conversation will be extremely enlightening for so many people, and to really share the magnitude of what gift you have brought to the world. It's beyond compare. So you're a great example. I'm in awe of you. I came to Shawn and I got to know each other from Broken Memories, because I wanted to do a fundraiser. I wanted to create something in Maryland or back east in DC for Congress. I had this big, huge idea because, of course, I wanted caregivers and Alzheimer's to have a whole bunch of funds, and I wanted the awareness to happen. And Shawn came to my aid to make that happen. He created this event with me back east, and I'm forever grateful for that. And then, of course, when I did the fundraiser in Los Angeles with Ron Howard and Bryce Dallas Howard, for Broken Memories with Alzheimer's LA, you flew out here and made sure that happened with me as well.
Oh, I was there.
So you saw Shawn.
I was there. I walked the red carpet with y'all.
Exactly. And I'm sure that he was, he probably asked you some questions, Susie.
Yeah.
One of the hosts.
I thought Susie looked familiar to me.
Yeah.
Now I know it's been confirmed. So I don't know how to follow up with that, Cassie. I guess the show is over, right now.
And good night.
Good night. Right. Thank you, ladies.
And scene.
But before we get into the senior zone, Cassie, if you don't mind, I do want to correct you in your salute, okay? If you don't mind.
Yes, thank you.
Let's do it.
It's with your right hand.
I was right.
With my right hand.
Your right hand. Bring it to the edge of your eyebrow, like you right where your eyebrow is, right? And you want to make sure you never show your palms, because that's a sign of surrender. So just tilt it like this. Don't touch your eyebrow.
Don't touch it.
Right here, or at the corner of your glasses if you're wearing glasses.
Okay.
Right? And then you want to bring your elbow out, make it like a 90 degree, not way up, like a 90 degree, right? Like that.
Okay.
There you go. That's good enough right there. That looks perfect. Then you just drop it down. And as you're dropping it down, you're closing your hand and bringing it to your side.
Okay.
We did that so perfect. That's going to edit
as a show
so
of respect for that or whom you just saluted.
That's awesome. Thank you for correcting us.
There you go.
Where are you from originally, Shawn?
I am originally from, this may sound crazy, some may even think it's a conspiracy, but I'm from Queens, New York, but I'm from a section of Queens, New York called Corona, Queens. Okay?
What?
Coronavirus. Yes.
Gosh.
Kind of strange, a lot of irony there, but that's probably for another show.
Yeah.
I want to actually take this moment, if I may. I would like to dedicate this show to your aunt.
Thank you. Like many, families across this country, we've been affected. If you have not been directly impacted, you most likely now know of someone, who has. And it hit my family hard. I had two aunts in New York. One walked out fine, quarantined, and she's going to make it. The other, never saw the light of day. And she was the one that was the life of the party when we had family get-togethers, the spirited one. So it hurt. I'm still, wiping tears away from time to time. But thank you for that, Cassie. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
My heart breaks for you and your family. And I know she's safe and she's okay now. But I know that that loss can, be felt.
Like with any families, we're in the sense of when you have, empathy and compassion for others, and when others are hurting, I look at my blessings and I put it all in perspective. No matter what we were going through, I still felt, and my heart ached and bled for many, many others who didn't have the wherewithal, the resources, the abilities, the insights, and how to speak with healthcare professionals. I had those resources. In spite of the outcome, I still felt, blessed, because I know that there were so many more suffering. And so that's where my focus, was, even in my family as well, throughout this. Debbie was a magnificent woman. She was, we called her the boss. She used to want to be in charge of everything, but took accountability for absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. I always wondered, how do you do that?
My
right?
kind of girl.
Yeah. What kind of skills do you have to be in charge, right? And people look at you as the person in charge. They could do something, minor, but not have accountability for anything. So that's how she and I would always, interact. But she taught me at a very early age that our circumstances, because we didn't grow up with any silver spoons in my family, so she exposed me to things that we didn't have in our community. And so we went out to different neighborhoods, different communities across state lines very early on. So I could see that, wow, there's another whole world beyond Corona, Queens, New York. And so, those were subtle messages, but she would take me to, places that we would see on TV. And so that taught me to aspire for something else. She didn't always speak it, but she showed it, to me. So I always knew that there was more to go after and strive for and aspire for. And so that's the big lesson for me, that she taught me. And then smile, along the way, find humor, even when things don't look well, that's our medicine in many, many cases. So she taught me that. And so I carry her with me. Her pictures, over there somewhere right now that I just got, and she'll always be with me. But I thank you so much for sharing that. But, we're in, uncertain times, fearful times. Unemployment is worse than it's ever been. People are trying to figure out what to do. Where to get their next meal, how to pay their rent, worry about credit cards, all that sort of basic necessities of life.
Survival.
Survival, right. I mean, this is real for many, many people. If you're not in a bubble, and if you're willing to look out beyond that, you will see that so many people are hurting. And I just wish I could do something myself to help the many and just not, the few. And so I just, my wife would tell you, I just ache, in that respect. And, if you don't feel now in this time that we're in, then you're just a cold-blooded, creature. I don't know how else to say it, you know what I mean? And so, but I thank you for sharing that and dedicating, this podcast, this show for my sweet, Aunt Debbie.
I was thinking the word bubble when you said that, because I think that, everybody needs to get out of their own bubble and, see that we're all in this together. Somehow, some way, we're all connected. Which brings me to is, what was your motivation for launching the Senior Zone? What was I feel like you already had an affinity from youth and saw the value in our senior voice.
Yeah, my motivation, it came to me while working with other healthcare providers, the big ones. And we won't name them here, but the big healthcare providers in our country. And the approach that I took with the job that I had, I took a grassroots approach in the DC community to get out in the community to understand what they wanted, what they sought for in a healthcare plan. And so that took me into the community centers, into the wellness centers, into the senior buildings. And as I established those relationships with those key influencers, as well as I call it the Miss Hattie Mays, I found myself becoming a mini resource center. Folks would call me up and say, where do I go for this service? Where do I go for that? And I didn't know where to go. I was a traffic cop of information. And so the brainchild of an idea it was like manna from heaven dropped down on me. And I said to God, like, huh, me? You want me to start a radio show? One who doesn't like to speak, one who runs away from public speaking, all that sort of stuff. I'm not a in front of the camera person all of my entire life, but I followed that. And things began to change. Blessings began to fall right in front of my path. Doors began to open. I met the likes of Cassie Cruz, who called me out of the blue. I thought I was being pranked when I got a phone call. And so the embryonic beginnings of the Senior Zone was established. And so I just took it, and we got better each show. My intent from the show was, simply to have a positive impact, an influence on our older adults so that they could, just live out their lives with, dignity and independence and respect.
Quality and
Those
quality.
things that we all
Yeah.
aspire for and want
Yeah.
in all of our lives. But many of the misinformed or the ill-informed just didn't know where to go. So I wanted to become that place, that safe place, that haven, that forum of connection where older adults as well as their caregivers could come and know that to the best of my abilities, all information that I put out is vetted as best as I can possibly vet it. And so it became a trusted place. And so that was the spirit, of the Senior Zone. And it remains that spirit today, where folks come and listen. Every show is not for everybody,
Yeah.
but what's there is good and useful and relevant information simply to improve the lives of our older adults.
I love it. It's like, it's necessity is the mother of invention, and there was a need for that. And you stepped up, you leaned into it. And we need that. And we need to take the stigma off of getting older, because it's a gift to get older.
Yeah. We've heard, that the phrase, love is what love does.
Yeah.
Right. So it's meaning that love has to be actionable. Right. And so I say the same thing around care. Care just can't be a noun. It has to be a verb, because if not, it's just smoke, right? We're just talking. So if you don't combine the two and make it an actionable activity, something that you are doing to care for our older adults, then you're just, sucking up oxygen and
It's
wasting
lip service.
time.
Yeah.
It's lip service. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
So
that's one thing that Shawn does not do. He doesn't do just lip service. And I'd like to talk about the events, if you wouldn't mind. Like, would you share the plethora of events that you actually put on yourself besides the radio show? I mean,
yeah, well, I just didn't want to have an on-air presence, someone that was kind of invisible, right? A voice every Monday morning at 10 o'clock here in Washington, D.C. I wanted to take the show and make it accessible to our older adults, but not in a way that was self-serving. I wanted it to be a platform that served, our older adults to the extent that I can. I'm a one-man band, so to the extent that I could, make our older adults feel special, pamper them with things that weren't, out there, that I saw. So I said, well, what can I do? So I thought of this idea of providing free haircuts, free manicures, free, what do you call it, makeup, cosmetology, for the women. And so I
makeovers, Shawn.
yeah.
Oh, you're so great. That's so lovely. That's so incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we call it our Senior Spa Day. And we did one, and one, led to two. And then we got interest from other areas to do it. More interest than I can actually do myself, but it's a free event. The Senior Spa Day is a free event, entirely free. So we provide those pampering services, as I mentioned, haircuts and manicures and makeovers. And then we wrap that around with a host of vendors that provide relevant information for our seniors. And so they come. There are nonprofits as well as for-profits that provide this information. The for-profits are instructed beforehand. We are not selling a thing at our Senior Spa Day. Do not even make that attempt. And so they come with that mindset. And then we wrap that around with some form of entertainment, because you're sitting waiting for a haircut, right?
Right.
So we're bringing, whatever the community, gives us is what we accept.
Right.
So it's a community-supported event. It's my pride and joy. You may see it even on my face right now.
I do, yes.
Because, I've had moments where, I've teared up. It's okay. I'm a man. It's okay to cry. right?
It is.
Good to
It is.
cry.
It's very
Heck yeah.
important, and that's what we're talking about. The man.
And I'm telling you, I've had folks that have just come to me after getting a haircut, after getting, their hair curled or made up or whatever, and just
It makes a difference, Sean.
and
It makes a
right.
difference.
Yeah, because a $20 haircut to someone on a fixed income making $750 a month, they got to pay their rent, their food, and other ancillary things. To save $20 for a haircut, for ladies, who knows, $50? I have no idea. But
150.
that's a big percentage of their income. And so it just made me cry. And that was the payback, because there's no monies exchanged for the senior spa day. And so my payback is the gratitude that I receive from the seniors that we serve. And each senior spa day, we're packing out gymnasiums right now. I hope to grow that even bigger. But that's my baby. That's my baby.
I love it. How
Yeah.
can you get other, because not everyone lives in DC, but we need those kinds of things. How can we get people to follow your model? It's a great model. Extend what you do in terms of allowing other people to take on the responsibility, but it's so valuable what you're doing.
Yeah, well, we are working on, it's in progress, slow progress, snail sort of pace progress, but we're working on taking the Senior Spa Day national, calling it our National Senior Spa Day. And so we're working on getting, all the beauticians and the barbershops and, all the pamperers, if you want to call them that, around the country.
They're very important to all of us, and we need you. And
you got to get your nails did. You got to get your feet did. And let me tell you,
didn't get the hair done or didn't get nothing did in the last.
No, I know.
months.
And like, I can tell you that my roommate's mom, who is 85, and she's quarantining as she should, and she's sharp as a tack. I mean, she's amazing. Mickey. Hi, Mickey, if you're watching. She's like, her biggest regret is she can't reach down to do her toes. And she can't have anyone come right now, but it's like, you don't think about those things, if you what a night you need it.
We need it, and our seniors need it, and especially what you're doing, Sean. That gift is such a great gift. So you were explaining that you're looking to build that out nationwide, right?
Yeah, I wanted to address Susie's question, and we are looking, and we're working with other nonprofits to put together the organization to make that happen. I just can't do it just myself.
You can't do it all by yourself. You need people. Come collaborate, please. Everybody help. Get on.
Well, every city has local, like Alzheimer's Los Angeles, who we're very involved with, and it's which you helped with Cassie's fundraiser.
And he helped on the Los Angeles, and he helped with Washington D.C. division. But
I mean, places like that, there's so many local organizations that really serve the locals, in their city and districts. So, it seems like a no-brainer to incorporate that.
But I think what Sean's doing is a little bit special and a little bit different, and that collaboration, you need to franchise this, Sean.
Yeah.
So this needs to become like a franchise, so you become that model, and then people can pick that up and do that in their cities. And you've created that workflow, because what you're doing, how you're doing it, that's the key.
It's a format. You do your format, and then you license it out. We'll talk.
We'll talk. But I also want to say, though, the pictures and the videos and the things that I've seen during those days, it warms my heart. It brings tears to my eyes when I see that, because it's like that love that you're sharing, that give back, and that's that circle of life that you are giving to somebody, and then they feel so different. They feel good, right? Yeah. They got pampered. They got their hair cut. They got their nails done. They feel like a queen.
They are all gussied up, ready to go when they leave, our senior spa days, events. And so we do those monthly here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It takes
how many do you end up having on that spa day?
On average right now, we have about, say, 250 that come through, 250 seniors.
250, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot.
Per month.
Yeah. And we're set up for more. I can probably max out at around 500, you know, because that's what I
See?
want. I want to bust at the seams with this, but you know,
Yeah.
sometimes we can't control the weather or other
Sure.
circumstances. Like now, we're shut down all of 2020. We
Sure.
haven't done one. No, we've done one in January, but that's shut. After that, we've been shut down. But
But that's safer right now, and this too shall pass, and then
absolutely.
you'll be back on it. And you know, this gives you that time to build and rethink and connect, maybe with the building your franchise.
Yeah, so that's our hope, to take it national and to get, you know, those pamperers around the country to participate in one of their slow days, like Wednesday, right? It's probably a slow day for barbers and beauticians,
During the day,
and
when the
during the day, and make it, you know, maybe, you know, a day in November or a day in May, you know, maybe twice a year we do this National Senior Spa Day, or we Pamper Day, you know, for our seniors, and it's just a give back, you know, to our elderly, maybe 65 and up, you know. But it's a win-win for those participants, because they may possibly gain a customer as well during the off.
Yeah.
right,
Sure.
exactly.
So we're working on that, you know, and so when it comes out, I'll let you guys know and be the first to share it with on this podcast.
Great.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yes, and I wanna speak to something that was the first as well when we came out to Maryland, Washington D.C. to do our event. Rance and Judy Howard came, and they actually
Tell the
are near-
audience who Rance and Judy are.
Rance Howard is Ron Howard's father,
Right.
and Bryce Dallas Howard's grandfather, and he's their patriarch. He's the reason why they are here, and he's an
And the
awesome,
loveliest man, one of the loveliest men I've ever met. He was
absolute.
and the whole family's lovely. I used to know their mom, who passed before Judy, and just there's nothing. They just perpetuate goodness.
Love and goodness, and they're
Yeah.
the best storytellers, and Rance is a great storyteller as well, and a fantastic actor, and he was the star in Broken Memories,
Right.
and so we were of course fundraising, and so Rance, Judy, and I went back east, and Shawn interviewed Rance on his radio show, and talking about the first, Rance announced that Judy had Alzheimer's.
I remember in that moment, and Judy was sitting right next to Rance at the time, and we had folks in the audience. I don't know how many folks there, but it was a lot of folks there, and so it was a very, you know, touching moment, because I wasn't necessarily prepared for that either. So I can't remember what I said right now, Cassie, because it was in the moment, and it was real and it was live. But that was a special moment, and I think I still have that picture that I keep, you know, as one of my favorites, because you provided me, and I want to thank you again, Cassie, with the opportunity to associate with yourself, with Broken Memories, to have a I don't know, a life-changing event. It was an experience for me that I would not have had till this date, and going out to LA and that entire experience that I had never been exposed to. I was nervous, you know, unlike any other time, but I had a ball there. But that experience, Cassie, you helped put the Senior Zone on the map. You are in the Senior Zone Hall of Fame when we have one day, because like I said,
so sweet.
You gave me a random call on a Monday after I was leaving the show, and it's a Hollywood producer, you know, like there's no Hollywood producer calling me, Shawn Perry of the Senior Zone.
Hollywood, we've taken over this town.
Yeah, I thought I was being
doing?
pranked. And so I looked around, is there any cameras around that I can see? Yeah, a relationship, you know, was forged, and I hope it never ends. And so I want to thank you publicly, you know, for that opportunity, because it was truly an experience. But it also helped lend us some credibility even within the DC community, because we had folks, just not horizontally, not that Miss Hattie Mays, right? Just regular folks, but we also had, you know, vertical relationships that were established deeper within the DC community, from, you know, the Office on Aging's, you know, at the time, to, you know, the elephants in the nonprofit world, the AARPs of the world, you know, they came out and supported that event, and many, many others. So it gave me, when I pick up a phone call and I say Shawn Perry of the Senior Zone, to those sorts of organizations, I don't get the runaround, you know, now. They know that it's a legit operation, if you will, right? We're just not a fly-by-night, radio show. We're now in our 8th year, so I owe a lot of that to you, Cassie, and
Oh, I'm
by
just
association, our seniors.
I'm just going to say that I'm sure that that's not true, that it's because of me, because it's really because of you, your grandma, your Aunt Debbie. and we just, and we got to be part of it. And I was so floored because I knew, of course, Judy's situation, and Rance became her caregiver, and he wasn't planning on talking about it. So when they were actually on your show, he decided to share with the world that she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We became, of course, champions of her, and we've dedicated a lot of things to Judy Howard. My walk's been dedicated to her, and we want to find a cure. He became her caregiver until she passed away, and he's an incredible human being. So I was just really, you were so, if you remember, because Rance is super funny, as you know, and he is a great storyteller. So of course it was the greatest moment. You were very genuinely interested in that diagnosis, and also his caregiving and what he was doing. But then, he of course related it to sex. He had to bring it back to some sexual.
That's my kind of guy.
Yeah. We could relate then. Then we started having a real conversation at that point.
You're like, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. And he's a fantastic, magnificent person. And I love him, and I love Judy. They became super great companions and friends, and just great people to know.
That's the beauty, though, Shawn, getting back to what you were saying of Cassie opening up or lending a little bit of leverage and legitimacy, if that's the right word, to your mission, because using Hollywood for the right reasons sometimes, it is a powerful platform. And I know that because I did a movie, that's how we met. I did a movie with Valerie Harper based on my mother, who has Alzheimer's, and life begins to imitate art, and you demystify all those things that people don't like to talk about, and make it joyful, and show the silver linings. We had very simpatico projects. Hers was about a man and his son, a man with Alzheimer's. Mine was about a woman with Alzheimer's and her daughter. So very simpatico, and very similar tones as well. So, and I think, that we need that. We need that conversation to be out there. And, Hollywood gives us a platform to have that conversation, and whether or not it deserves it, it does add legitimacy.
And you know what, though? Here's the great thing is that the more that we do all of this, what you're doing, Shawn, is a great service, because, you've taken care of the East Coast, we're on the West Coast, and we're together now. And
Takes
really,
a tribe. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a collaboration of all generations, of all types of people, of all races. We're all equal in that way. We are not the same, though. That's, I think, the most important thing that I've got to learn. We have different strengths, and coming together, we get to participate in the strengths that we have and make a better world, or make a worse world. And I hope that I know the three of us here are of light, and we are working towards the better part for everybody and the future generations, for us to be together. And I think that's what your events do as well. They bring people together.
With respect to Alzheimer's, I do want to talk about that. Many are in different boats with respect to Alzheimer's, but we're all in the same storm. And so I think that this is one issue, one cause that has universal support. And so we all are looking to get from under this storm. Now, many are in different boats within this storm. And so, how do we find, parity for those that, are unable to provide the quality of caregiving, for their loved one, just as much as someone who has the wherewithal, the means to provide quality of care for their loved one during that, just sad.
And may I add that whether or not the haves or the have-nots, eventually it's a very long disease that the haves will run out.
Yeah.
It does happen. And it happened to my mom. And, as much as she was had prepared and planned and had a very good nest egg, it will eat that away. And so we need to pay attention to it because it's universally devastating.
It is. It is. And if you've ever been around, I know you have and I have, and see someone and speak to their loved ones and learn the story of the one that's plagued with Alzheimer's, and then to see how they are now, it just brings up just a overwhelming, for me, an overwhelming sense of just sadness, because we can't do anything right now. There's no cure, but I know folks are working, on the front lines to find a cure to delay the onset, of Alzheimer's until there's a cure. So we have to support and lift up those folks and get rid of this just disease that's just plaguing all of us around the world.
This
And so
It's an ugly, mean, and it does not discriminate. It gets anybody.
Yeah, just like
absolutely.
COVID-19, it can hit anybody. So
It can
we're
hit
really
anybody.
all in the same boat. We might be in different boats, but
Mhm.
we're all.
But we want to make it a nice ride while we're in those boats because that's all we have. So, I call my film a joyous look at Alzheimer's because I looked for the joy. That was I decided I was either going to mourn the loss of my mom every day as she dwindles away, and she's still with us. But it's been, 14 years. It's a long time. And so I made a decision. I'm going to love every stage of it like you do your child.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
this is what I've learned through just not say Alzheimer's, but all of the chronic and debilitating sort of diseases that are out there. We think that caregiving is this box, right? And so I remember saying on air some time ago that caregiving inside the box is like caregiving contained, right? So instead of now, so I encourage my listeners to just not think outside of the box, but get rid of the damn box, because everyone's caregiving experience is unique to them. And so why limit ourselves? Open yourselves up for other caregiving experiences, speak with other people, find ways to make your journey, I don't know, for lack of a better word right now, as pleasant as possible.
Yeah.
And
it can be, right? I mean, it's so rewarding. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you had it not been my mom not contracted Alzheimer's, or I wouldn't have met the most wonderful lady, Valerie Harper, and got to work with her and be blessed with her and be able to go to film festivals and meet people that cry and say, thank you for telling my mom's story, my dad's story, my aunt's story, my grandma. And that's why those are the gifts you get from opening yourself up to something that you may have been resisting.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in asking, for help, and opening yourself up and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. I think there's strength in being vulnerable. There's strength in asking, for help. And we have to remove that sort of mindset, that disposition, that stigma that's associated with asking for help. And that's across the spectrum of all of these chronic diseases that plague us as we get older. And so, I mean, you just have to have a heart of giving. And for the most part, either you have it or you don't, and you can tell when it's just genuine, sort of compassion for others. And so I think that I have it. I try to demonstrate that I have it and make it actionable. And I know you guys have it as well.
I know you have it. And I will say this to the people that might not have it, that are listening to this, and you feel like, hey, I don't have that and I don't feel that way. It could be a little click, like a little kaleidoscope, little shift, a little change, a little expansion, a little opening up your minds, because you could have that. It's something that you cultivate, it's something that you practice. And we don't always get to talk about that, the resilience, the perseverance, because, all of us, have been on the floor. All three of us have been on the floor. All three of us have cried. All three of us have gotten angry. There are emotions. There are thermometer of what's happening, and that's real, and that's all okay. And if you maybe have distanced yourself from your own heart, that can change, that can break away. And that's why we're doing this. And that's why Shawn's doing it. So we can communicate the message out so more people can possibly pick it up and hear it, because we're all vibrations and being able to pick that up.
But also, like what Shawn was saying, like, it's not in a box, caregiving.
Yeah,
And it can
like
be
a
defined in a
snowflake.
lot of different ways. And, maybe I'm better suited to be the hands-on girl. I'm going to go and and I'm going to sing and dance for all the seniors when I get there, and they love it and whatever. And someone else can't
Can do something
that.
else. Yeah. Somebody else
Do
does
something else because I get
something else.
tired. I can't do it all by myself. So it's
No,
like, but if you are really good at something else, or you handle the finances, or you can do that, then let's be a team. Let's be a village and a tribe, and just, help each other, help others. And then, it's good karma. It's good. We're all going to get there. We hope that we are, in good hands at some point as well.
Yeah, I tell, as of this interview, this is May of 2020. And so this is Older Americans Month. And the theme of this month is make your mark. Make your mark on community, make your mark on friends, make your mark on co-workers, make your mark, but make your mark right where you are. You don't have to go out and do, like climb Mount Everest. You can do things right in your own backyard. That could be making a meal for your neighbor who's shut in, who's homebound. That could be starting a book club. That could be starting a radio program. That could be starting a podcast. That could
read a book for somebody. Some people can't see well when they get older, but they love literature.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Martin Luther King once said that everybody can be great, right? Everybody can be great, but but anybody can serve. Right? We all have the ability and the capacity, to serve right where we are. And so that's what makes you great, serving others. I found with the Senior Zone, and I learned this once I started the Senior Zone just shy of turning 50. I was reimagining myself, reinventing myself unwittingly. But I found how much, when you give, just how much you get back.
Oh yeah, it's a gift. You get so much. Oh my God, I miss going. One of the things I miss so much, of course, notwithstanding missing my mom's, I like to squeeze her face really and give her a lot of lovins, we're very demonstrative that way. I still get in her. I know, I love her so much. I just want to kiss her all the time. I love her. And, but my mom used to be a professional singer. And so we bring her recordings in and we play them again and again and again, because that gets in, right? And then all my daughters, I have 2 daughters, when we all sing, and the seniors love it so much, all the other seniors who are there as well. And they come around, they're like, are you singing today? Like, they put us on the spot.
Yeah.
They're singing, come on.
Yeah. Right.
I guess we are singing today.
Yeah.
And we walk away, we feel so good. We feel so loved. And it's a gift to us.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I have a question for you, Shawn. You've had a lot of guests on. Who had the most impact on you?
That's a good question, Cassie. And it's an easy question for me. And I use this, and I'll use this question, and I've used it before, to inspire others out there who have dreams, ambitions. I'm talking about at this stage of life. If you want to reinvent yourself, reimagine yourself, just redo yourself, right? I had an interview with a well-known DJ, certainly within the African-American community. He's a Hall of Fame DJ. His name was Donnie Simpson. And so, just to be in front of him at the time, I was in awe. I was nervous, but I finally got him to come to the show. And so he came like an hour early for the interview. So we're sitting in my studio at the time, just talking, rapping to one another. And so I felt at some point comfortable enough to be vulnerable to him. So I asked him questions about, or expressed some of my anxieties about what I do, because I'm not trained. I'm not a journalist, didn't go to school for that. Public speaking, as I said before, is something that I've always shied away from. So I asked him questions like, so how do you overcome these anxieties? Now, he's already been in the business 40 years or so, right? And so he said he learned early on that no one could be better at being Donnie Simpson than Donnie Simpson. Just be yourself. simple advice, right? But coming from someone like him, the stature, the pedestal that I had him on, to share that sort of just simple advice, it
Mhm.
it just released a lot of anxiety. I was able to say, okay, Shawn, you're not a perfect speaker. You stutter from time to time. You lose your train of thought oftentimes, right? But you're genuine and you're relevant, to the demographics that you're serving. Just be yourself. And that changed the senior zone. I mean, that was a pivotal
Oh, wow.
moment for me. That right there just changed the senior zone for me, because I stopped coming home or after each show and counting how many ummas did I say on the broadcast, or how many, I used to always say when I transitioned from one point to another, gotcha, right, or understood. How many of those did I stopped counting those, because that's not what mattered. I was
Right.
delivering relevant information, and my seniors would share that with me, and then I would ask my seniors, my audience, my demographics, how I'm doing, and they would just share back with me. We just like you being yourself,
Yeah.
your imperfect self. We actually, they would applaud me for being vulnerable, on air, and so
It's
that just
disarming. It's disarming.
it was.
Disarming. I mean, I learned that like my most favorite experiences with, so-called icons in Hollywood have been the ones that embrace their foibles, and also they listen to others, and they're that which is a gift to listen, and that's what you do. You listen.
I want to bring this back to caregiving and Alzheimer's, if I can, for a second. What have you seen change with that, with all the people that you connect with, and the guests that you have on?
Over these 7+ years, what I've just seen, because I started at ground zero, right, with no reference point, is just the level of kindness that I see, towards the elderly. Maybe it was always there, and I just didn't see it because I wasn't in this space as much as I am now. But the willingness for people to be much kinder towards our older adults. I end my show, every show, I end my show with this quote. And that quote is, be someone who makes someone else look forward to their tomorrow. Right. So I'm really saying, be that person that makes that other person, look forward to their tomorrow. Very selfless, sort of statement there. And so that's kind of, what I see. We can speak about what, is happening scientifically, and I believe in my heart that within the next 5-10 years, at the most, that we won't be talking about Alzheimer's. When I speak with, the folks at the chapters and at higher levels within the Alzheimer's Association, I always tell them, I want to put you out of a job. I hope you are looking for other occupations in a few more years. And I believe that that's the case because we're all in the same storm. And so the answer to your question, I hope that I am, is that because of Alzheimer's and the way it touches and impacts, our mostly older adults, is that, the level of just empathy, sympathy, compassion, and kindness is even more elevated, because that person who's plagued with Alzheimer's, they are at their most vulnerable, stage. They can't defend themselves. They can't speak for themselves. They can't lobby for themselves. They can't say what's hurting them. There's a lot of can'ts, that they can no longer do. So we have to be that advocate for them. But as Susie mentioned, you have to know that individual, be able to listen and hone in on their cues, because they're different, and what's bothering them, what's aching them, how to best get them in a calm or calmer state. And so you can't be that unless, you have a kind sort of spirit, understanding their place, making sure that they have a better tomorrow than today. Be that someone who makes someone else look forward to tomorrow. So I don't know if that kind of answered your question, but that's the spirit
Yeah.
that I see and what I try to espouse on the Senior Zone.
Well, that is very encouraging, because that's what we hope to do too. That's what we want that to happen, and just make it part of everyday life. That is just part of our life that we address and embrace. And I think it's good to hear that you feel like there's been a shift. So that's good. That's wonderful. So the person who makes another person excited to wake up for the next day. Is that it?
Just imagine that, right? It's like a virus, right? If we could all just, spread, if kindness was a virus right now, just imagine how many people would be infected, right?
It would be great.
Yeah.
Just spread sunshine all over the place.
Yeah, one infects two, and then the whole world is operating, kind to one another. And I think
let's compete at who can be the kindest. If you're competitive, let's compete for it.
Well, if there's one thing,
he's winning right now.
He's a good winner right now. But you know what though? Here's the thing: is that if there's one thing that COVID-19 has shown us is that we really are very much connected with each other, and that we're not separated. The whole world, that we even though we might not be physically in that presence, we're in some type of relationship,
or should be,
and also we are even with the world and how we treat the earth, or and our animals. I mean, those type of things. Those are the bigger picture stuff. I wanted to ask Shawn, is there something that there's two things I wanted to ask. One is, how many people have you interviewed? Do you have a number? Is it in the thousands now?
Well, it's a weekly show. So I've been coming up on 8 years. So I'm not quite at 8 years. So let's say 7.5, every week. And I do 2 interviews a week. So we're coming up on our 400th show next month. So I would say around, 800 folks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And you're talking to people that are in Congress, give me a plethora, if you wouldn't mind, of because I got to meet the senior leader in AARP, Lou Rawls, because of you, a fantastic human being. Who tell me the plethora of just a scattering, if you wouldn't mind, the genres.
Yeah, so I really like to talk about the horizontal folks, right? But I know your question is the vertical sort of folks. I mean, we've had senators on our show. We've had the mayor of Washington D.C. on our show. We've had the CEO from Meals on Wheels, AARP, and the Glaucoma Foundation, and many others. I'm actually fortunate in that living here in the Washington D.C. area is the backyard to most of the national nonprofits, right? And so to have access to them, physical access to them, helps forge those relationships, and being able to meet for lunch on occasion has helped to forge that relationship. So I'm at an advantage because of the proximity that I am to most of these nonprofits. But it's been a ride. I mean, I've met people that I wouldn't have met. I wouldn't have been in those circles. I wouldn't have had, they wouldn't have been in my sphere of influence. And so I'm now part of that, but I don't even like to talk about that part of it, Cassie, because I like talking about the, Mr. Jimmy Jones, Mr. Charles
I know
Smith.
Jimmy Jones.
Yeah. I'm giving some generic names right now, right? And Miss Hattie Mays, because I like to learn about their stories and how they got to this point in their life. What are some of their wisdoms, right? That they share with their sons and daughters and grandchildren. I like those stories. Talking with the politicians and this, the SVPs of this organization, we don't have that sort of conversation, right? It's too polished, too rehearsed, too professional, right? So it's the horizontal folks, and I don't mean to call them that, but I'm trying to give you an idea of, I like those folks on the ground, so to speak. That's who I really connect with, and just to learn their story, because that's where I learn, and that's where I grow, and that's where I become more relatable to my audience,
Right.
And so.
Well, Shawn, I want to just say though, the people, when you interview the vertical as well as the horizontal, you always ask them for their story. So every single person, you're interested in their story. And that is what you are talking about. And that's why it's fascinating to listen to your show. So I thank you for that. I thank you for that service. I thank you for all of your service, because you're an incredible human being, as I've already stated at the beginning. Is there something that we might not have talked about or that we did not ask you that you would like to share before we wrap this baby up?
Oh, sure. We can go on for hours.
I know, exactly, but we're going to have to wrap up. So I just want to make sure, because we could talk for a long time. We're in love with you, as you already know. So
and I'm in love with you guys, and I got a new love in Susie.
Oh, thank you.
Added you to the fold, Susie.
Exactly, it's true.
I'm there. I'm happy to be there.
That's why she's my partner.
I learned, and I may get this quote, wrong, so I'm kind of paraphrasing it a little bit, but it was instilled in me through my grandmother, Rosa Lee Perry, and she taught me early on that how far in life that I go depends on how I respond to, or how tender I am with the young, how compassionate I am with the aged, right, older adults, how sympathetic I am to those that are striving, on their way up. And then lastly, just how tolerant I am to the weak amongst us, but also the strong amongst us, because she told me that at some point, I'm going to be all of those, from young to on my way up to possibly weak, possibly strong. So, how we, respond to those, populations is how far, my life will go, the quality of my life. So that's what I just want to share with folks, too. While this is the senior zone, still be tender, to the young.
It's the people zone, really.
Yeah.
It is. It's people. We're people. We all are on a continuum, and that's the way it goes. So we need to understand it. I say that about raising my children. I always thought when my daughters, every stage, I put myself in their head. What was I like at 5 years old? What were my, what were my priorities, and how did I feel? And just try to get in their perspective, in their purview, so that you can be more empathetic and a better parent, a better partner in their life.
We have to be, if we want to leave a deposit, here on this earth, then we have to be better, and we can be better. If we do better, we're going to be better. And once we're being better, we're going to want to do more of it. It becomes contagious.
Yeah.
I find I'm on fire, for it. I really, really am. It's a contagion inside of me that just wants to spread it. And if we can get enough people motivated or infected, if you will, right?
Yeah.
That sort of mindset, then I just think the world will be a better place.
Can you imagine if everybody had that motivation?
So great, so fantastic. Hey, by the way, Susie, I did not disappoint, right? I set him up, and he actually delivered more than I set him up for.
Yes,
correct?
Did I over deliver and not under? Was that okay?
Yes. Yeah, you basically, I told you were going to over deliver. You always do. And
you are a lovely person. We are honored to have you and to have you in this world. And thank you for embracing the seniors and embracing everybody, and and just perpetuating that frame of mind. It's a beautiful frame of mind. I thank you so much. We thank everyone watching, and they can learn a lot from today.
Yeah, we're just super grateful. Thank you, Shawn. We love you. You're fantastic.
If I can say one last thing, I thank you both for this, and I applaud you. I salute you for what you're doing and trying to conquer, Alzheimer's. Love conquers ALZ.
That's
I'm
right.
See where you're going to go, and I'm saluting you back as well.
We're saluting you.
You got it.
We did. We're fast learners. But we have a saying too. What is it, Cassie?
I just want to say thank you to Shawn. Thank you, Susie, of course. Thank you to our listeners. We really hope that you enjoyed our conversation today. Really hope that you will continue to become a better person for yourself, and then spread that, because that's the virus that we want to have out there now. And until next time, we say, remember, love is powerful, love is contagious, and love conquers all.
All you gotta do is
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Shawn.